Okay, welcome to Supernetting. This will be the last in the advanced subnetting section. So in advanced subnetting, we looked at variable length subnet masks, we looked at subnetting class A and class B, and we're going to look here at supernetting. Now, if you remember when we subnetted, right, what we did, take an example of a class C network again, where the default subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So when we subnetted, what we did was we looked at your default subnet mask. We worked out here in the table how many bits we needed, right? We took those bits, we put them up here, right? Right, and we worked out our subnet mask in this particular example where I needed 3 bits, right? Your subnet mask became 224, or your full subnet mask became 255.255.254. Right? So as you can see, what we did here was we took away host bits and we made them network bits. Now, for the purpose of subnetting and subnet masks, you can always think of your ones as your network bits and your zeros as your host bits. So what we've been doing here so far is we've been taking away host bits and we've been replacing them with network bits. Right? And that's what you do when you subnet. All right, but when we look at supernetting, what we start doing is instead of taking away host bits, we start taking away network bits. Okay, so instead of moving in this direction, adding ones, sorry about that. Well, instead of moving in that direction, adding ones, we're moving in this direction and we're removing ones. Okay, so just as an example, I've got here 2 class C networks, 192.168.0.0 and 192.168.1.0. So our network addresses, or our network portions of these addresses, are 192.168.0 and 192.168.1. Right? The 0 at the end there will represent your hosts. Okay, now, or the last octet will represent your hosts. Okay, now, let's say you have a situation where you've been assigned these 2 class C addresses, right? But you want one network. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get a class B address that would accommodate, let's say, 500 hosts, right? But you've got these 2 class C networks, and each one will allow you 254 hosts, right? Which will give you a total of 508. Now, if you want to join these 2 together, let's just go back a bit. Why 254 and not 255 or 256? Remember, the first and the last addresses are reserved. The first address, .0, will be your network identifier. The last address, .255, will be your broadcast address. So it's 254 plus 254, which gives you 508. Now, in order to supernet, you do the exact same process. You've got to work out, okay, how many bits do I need here to get to my 500 networks, right? Alternatively, you can look at how many bits do I need to get to 2 networks. Why 2 networks? 1, 2 that we are joining, right? So I can do this in 2 ways, right? Let's start with the 2 networks, right? So we need those 2 networks joined together. That means that I've got to look at this table over here, and I've got to work out how to get to 2. Now, if I take the first bit, just the first bit, right, that gives me 0 to 1, right? So the 0 network and the 1 network, which is 2 networks, right? And that's all I need, right? So I need 1 bit. What that means is that if I look up here, I'm just going to clean this up a bit. But if I look up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so that's my default subnet mask. Because I need 1 bit for my 2 networks over here, right, I've got to take away now this bit here, right, and that needs to become 0. Let me just clean that up for you again. Right, that becomes 0. Right, so what I've done here is I've taken away 1 network bit, right, this one. Okay, so my subnet mask now becomes 255.255.254.0, even though it's a class C. Because we're supernetting, right, our subnet mask becomes 254 in the 3rd octet. All right, so remember, when I'm subnetting, I start taking away the host bits or zeros up here, right, and making them into network bits. But when I supernet, I start taking away the ones up here and making them 0, depending on how many I needed. Now, I did say we can calculate this another way, and we can calculate it using the 500 hosts that we require per subnet. So let's have a look at that way of doing it. If we want to get to 500, we need an additional bit up here. I'm going to just put 2 bits in, but we only really need 1. All right, so this is 256. All right, to get to 500, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, and that takes me to 512, which is plenty enough for our 500 hosts that we need. All right, so remember, I'm calculating hosts, so these are supposed to be zeros. All right, and all I do from there is I make sure that I've got 9 zeros at the end of my subnet mask. 9 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I've got 8 over here, which means that this last bit needs to be a 0. Right? And I'll end up with the same answer there. That is 254. Okay, and if you want to calculate that, very straightforward. Right? You can just plug that in up here. One, 0. Right? Obviously, this is from here in the 3rd octet. Right? And that's 128 plus 64, which is 192, plus 32, plus 16, plus 8, plus 4. Let's just remove this. Plus 2, plus 1. Oh, no 1 at the end there. Sorry. Okay, so no 1 at the end there. We stop at 2 plus 0. Okay, and that gives you 254. So your subnet mask there for supernetting becomes 255.255.254.0. And it's really that simple. Right? Depending on how many networks you need, you can work it out based on the number of hosts or based on the number of networks you need, which we said in this case was 2. All right, and that's supernetting, plain and simple. All right, if you want to try a few more examples, just have a look at the supplemental video that I will be uploading shortly. The supplemental video will include some tips and tricks as well, all right, and some ways to make it a little easier for you to do your calculations.